So in your theory, these conscious interactions, as you mentioned, are these conscious agents, right, that are kind of mathematically defined. And I think you say that they're computationally universal in the sense that they can kind of simulate any other computational machine that could exist, right? This is kind of Turing's idea. So it gives them the capacity to be able to do memory and perception, all these other things. And I guess what I'm interested in is, are living systems a single conscious agent, or are they assemblies of conscious agents? And if so, is there a kind of combination problem there?
There is a combination problem. It's a really interesting one. So in our theory, that's one of the things that I'm studying right now, is that the mathematical model of consciousness, as you mentioned, we have this definition of a conscious agent. We can prove that networks of conscious agents are computationally universal. That means that anything that you can do with any computer, quantum or classical computer, we can do with conscious agents. They're universal. It turns out when agents interact, they can combine and create new agents. So it leaves it open to me to say that there's just one agent, and that we're just all parts of that one agent, which is really quite interesting. So we have all the analytic tools that a scientist wants. I've got this definition of a conscious agent. I can analyze the one agent in terms of interactions of individual agents. So I have the analysis side, but I also have the synthesis side. And so one thing I want to do is explore all the varieties of combination that are possible. And I've got some colleagues who are into category theory, so we may have to end up categorizing the theory of math, the mathematical theory of conscious agent that we have, to really start to explore all and maybe Gödel's candy store may apply here. There may be an infinite variety of combinations that will be endless as well to explore. I've got a couple, and I'm not a mathematician. Whenever I get any serious math, I have to go with my cup in hand to my friends who are mathematicians and ask for their help. So I've got some friends who are experts in category theory, and we'll probably be going there, and they'll be tutoring me, and we'll try to go there. But so yeah, we have an interesting combination problem. It's very different than the standard panpsychist combination problem. So my view is very different from certain kinds of panpsychism. Panpsychism is a term that applies to a wide variety of different theories. So let me be specific about the version of panpsychism that I'm targeting here. There's a version of panpsychism that takes space-time and particles as truly existent. So I say they're just my headset. They're forms of my perceptions. They don't exist independently. But there's a form of panpsychism that says, no, electrons and protons and neutrons do exist even if they're not perceived. And in addition to having their physical properties, they also have some kind of unit of consciousness, some kind of minimal experience, for example, that are associated with an electron. And then you have this issue that, okay, if I have an electron and a proton and they get together to form a hydrogen atom, and you want to say that hydrogen has some kind of conscious experience as well, then you need to explain to me how the experience of the hydrogen atom is related to the experience of the proton and the electron. And there's nothing on the table from panpsychists about that, right? There's partly they don't know what experience to attach to the electron and to the proton. They don't know how to combine them. So for panpsychism, the combination problem is right now it's a showstopper for that approach, for that version of panpsychism that I've mentioned. Galen, Strawson, and others will say that that's not the panpsychism that they're talking about, that their panpsychism, Galen has actually told me in writing that his panpsychism is more like my conscious realism. So what he calls panpsychism is really consciousness is fundamental. In which case I, of course, don't object to that version of panpsychism. But to this version of panpsychism, I do object. So in my case, my combination problem, we have mathematical solutions. The problem is that there may be many different varieties of solutions, and that may be part of this whole enterprise, is that there's a variety of ways that consciousnesses can combine. And so I'm very interested to explore that. The other aspect of the combination problem, excuse me, is not just combining experiences, but combining subjects of experience, right? And most philosophers of mind who've studied that problem from a panpsychist point of view say, maybe we could get a theory of combination of experiences, but the combination of agents it's, the subjective experiencers themselves of subjects is not possible. I think it is. And we're working on mathematics of actually combining subjects of experience in the sense that there's a couple senses to that. One is just raw awareness versus a self-aware ego, in some sense, and the self-aware ego turns out to just be a structure that we create in this framework. The self is not a real fundamental thing. It's just another story we tell, just like the moon is a story we tell. My body is a story I tell. My psychological self is also a story that I tell. It's not a fundamental reality. It's just a user interface description. So the self emerges in that sense, not as a fundamental entity, but as a user interface description. Conscious agents and selves are very, very different things.